Welcome to the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority for the regular session agenda, approximately 6:44. Roll call, please.
Mayor Hodge,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Romero,
Here.
Councilmember Arreola Fernandez,
Here.
Councilmember Risen, Councilmember Pacheco.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I will lead you. Hand over arm. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Dale, would you be kind enough to start it off?
We pledge to provide effective and efficient services in a courteous and respectful manner to improve the quality of life for all in our unique border community. Viva Calexico.
Mayor Pro Tem, invocation.
Señor, te damos las gracias esta tarde, Padre, de poder estar aquí, de poder atender a tu ciudad, Señor, y te pedimos que las decisiones que se tomen hoy, Señor, sean con claridad, sean con tu guianza, sean con tu meditación y con tu oración, y te pedimos que todas las personas que ahorita pueden estar pasando por unos grandes retos, Señor, que los tengas bajo la cobija de tu fe, bajo la cobija de tu amor, Señor, y cuando uno se sienta débil, sepan ellos que tú nos fortaleces, Padre, y por eso te damos las gracias, Señor. Te pedimos que nos sigas guiando a todos, que nos mantengas fuerte, que nos mantengas firme, y que nos mantengas con esa calma que tú nomás nos puedes dar, Padre. En el nombre de Jesús te damos las gracias. Amén.
Amen. You may be seated. Moving to closed session announcements. Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Medical session, received direction from the political aspect.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda? Moved. All right.
Do we got to do the changes first?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, we had 4 items.
Oh, that's right.
Emergency items
Sorry.
that we need to add to the agenda, they need to act upon immediately. The first item we're gonna add as agenda item number 11 is adopt a resolution of City Council of Calexico declaring a local emergency regarding novel
Correct.
coronavirus.
Mhm.
That's number 11. We're gonna add also an item, a new item number 12, and that's approval of emergency telecommunicating agreement between the city and exempt employees and authorize city manager to sign the
Wait,
agreement.
is that right? Telecommunications?
Yes.
Okay.
We're also gonna add a new item number 13, and that's approval of a letter to be sent to water customer with regards to assistance during the local emergency regarding novel coronavirus. And we're also gonna have a new item number 14. That the resolution approving an emergency administrative leave policy authorizing city manager to write EAL to effective employees.
All right, thank you,
Item
Mr.
Number 11, 12, 13, and 14, and then the public hearing has to be.
Correct.
Continue on the inside.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager.
Mr. Mayor, given the change in the dynamics of the meeting, I would recommend it for our city clerk, if we have a microphone that speakers can use in the audience, or else the recording's not gonna catch it.
Or we can use this.
They can come up to the podium.
So that's why I was saying, because right now the city attorney was reading something.
Okay, thank you. All right, duly noted.
No, we're good.
No, we're fine, we heard it,
Okay.
but, okay. Duly noted, and is there an approval for the agenda with the addition of these action items?
Motion to, second.
All right, very good. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It passes unanimously. We have announcements, please. City Clerk.
These proceedings may be viewed on the City of Calexico website at www.calexico.ca.gov the Friday following the City Council meeting. Mayor Hodge will have community office hours to hear the concerns of the citizens the fourth Tuesday of the month from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at City Hall in the City Manager's Conference Room, 608 Heber Avenue, Calexico.
I think because of our crises, we should suspend meeting face-to-face for mayor hours. Maybe I could be present, take phone calls in, or so forth.
Can't stay 6 feet away? I'm just saying.
Yeah. No.
Upon the action, upon direction that was given, I think that's most ideal.
Yeah. Play it safe. Play it safe. There's some people, they need to be farther than 6 feet. Okay. All right, presentations. We have a proclamation on Declaration of Down Syndrome Day, which is March 21st, 2020. So a correction is needed there. Very good. I will begin. Whereas there are an estimated 6 million people with Down syndrome in the world today, and
Whereas people with Down syndrome deserve fundamental human and civil rights, and yet in many countries, people with Down syndrome are still not afforded those rights and privileges. And whereas despite dramatic increases in lifespan and intellectual ability in the U.S., there is still much work to be done regarding the rights to equality, inclusion, education, medical care, research, and support for people with Down syndrome in the U.S. and abroad. And
Whereas starting with Singapore in 2006, the date 321 has came to represent 3 copies of chromosome 21, hence 3-21, and has developed into a movement to acknowledge and value people with Down syndrome around the world. And whereas Gerardo Eri Paez, who has Down syndrome, is a member of our community who loves to ride his bicycle along the city streets, is loved and respected by all.
Whereas Gerardo Paez engages in collaborative community groups and organizations, especially to benefit people and youth with Down syndrome. And
Whereas through public awareness, Kennedy Gardens Neighborhood Watch, the City of Calexico and others acknowledge the hard work and progress made by parents, self-advocates, medical professionals, researchers, educators, and many nonprofit organizations all over the world, including but certainly not limited to the Global Down Syndrome Foundation, headquartered in Denver, Colorado. And whereas the City of Calexico joins the United Nations and over 191 other countries in acknowledging and valuing the lives and equality of people with Down syndrome.
now therefore I, Bill Hodge, Mayor of City of Calexico, do hereby proclaim March 21st, 2020 as World Down Syndrome Day in the City of Calexico, California, and encourage all citizens and agencies to acknowledge World Down Syndrome Day on March 21st, 2020. In witness whereof, I hereunto affix my signature and official seal of the City of Calexico on the 18th day of March 2020. Since we have no public, we will hold on to this, give it to the proper person. Okay. Public comments.
This is a time for the public to address the City Council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you when you come to the microphone. Please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. If the item you wish to comment on is on consent item, please comment now. City Council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to the item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council.
Do we have any incoming public comment?
Yes, we do, sir. We have a public comment from Mr. Ben Horton, and he would like to recommend all portable restrooms for health and liability reasons should be removed from the city properties, like in the alley by Jack in the Box on Rockwood Avenue, as soon as possible. We have a comment public comment from Mr. James Beaver. That he says that due to the mandatory absence of the general public at the meetings, he would like to say that being that the driver's license expires on the 15th of next month, the El Centro DMV is packed with a capacity of over 350 people. It's always staggering with people, and as senior citizen approaching 75 years of age, I should go there to take my written exam. Why can't the League of Cities of the State of California ask the governor or secretary of the state for DMV to do the written exam online during the coronavirus episode? He thanks you for your generation and all this.
Any others? That's all. Thank you for the public comments. Now on to city council comments and reports of meetings attended. Start with you, Councilwoman Fernandez.
I don't
Any?
have anything at this time.
Mayor Pro Tem Romero.
No meetings attended. I just wanted to make more than anything a public statement for all our constituents and viewers online. We understand this is a very hard time. Very hard decisions are being made, not just at a local government level, but at a county, at a state, at a federal, but most importantly at your homes. As a father of two, of course that I do fear for the spread of this virus and contagion, but I understand that we have to remain calm. At the end of the day, we all have to work together. We have to definitely take care of our elderly, specifically here in the city of Calexico, where, if I'm not mistaken, we probably have one of the highest or the highest senior population in the entire county. So we all must remain calm. Most importantly, always keep in mind that whatever direction we're given by our local authorities, whether they be from municipal all the way to federal, to make sure that we follow them. By following them, they mean don't go to parks. If they say stay 6 feet away, if they say don't go to bars, don't go to nightclubs, just to follow everything that we gotta do. At the end of the day, this will pass, and we will hopefully, God willing, continue forward. And I wish everybody nothing but the best. Prayers for not just our city, but for the entire world. And we're hoping this passes by soon. That's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Councilman Rising. Okay.
My same sentiments for it's just worldwide, and it's just not one particular country. It's affected the whole world. So it is something that we've never have experienced, and I think if we follow the guidelines and keep our distance, cover our coughs, stay away, don't go out, stay at home, I think we can lick this.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. If you will indulge me, I have a little bit here to read. I am going to read for our online viewers. The immediate release that came out. Was it yesterday?
This morning.
Seems so long ago. But before I do, I read this information as mayor, I would like to thank all administration, department heads, and employees and city council for immediately being proactive and taking very seriously this coronavirus crisis, this pandemic. Since last week, when I called for an emergency meeting, we have had various subsequent meetings to analyze and problem solve in combating the coronavirus and its impact on the city's ability to serve and meet the needs of our citizens. We will continue to be proactive and receptive as public servants. What we put online on our city website, on our Facebook, on the fire department Facebook, states this: the city of Calexico is closely monitoring the coronavirus disease, COVID-19, on a daily basis and is following the latest information provided by California Public Health Department, Imperial County Public Health Department, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The city of Calexico is committed to maintain the safety and well-being of our community by taking socially responsible preventive measures. Effective March 17th, 2020, yesterday, City of Calexico will be taking the following preventive measures. Number one, city organized events will be canceled and postponed. Number two, temporary use permits for community events and gatherings will be suspended and new applications will not be issued. Three, all programming at the Calexico Recreation Department will be suspended. Four, city parks will close. Organized sports practices and events will be suspended. Five, Gamanana Memorial Library will close. However, book loaning and other services will continue. Please call the library at 768-2170 for more information on that point. Until further notice, there will be no public access to city council meetings. Please submit your public comments for the upcoming meetings by 5 o'clock. The City of Calexico asks that you follow the Imperial County Public Health Department recommendation to stay home and minimize social contact to the extent possible, and follow daily preventive actions like washing hands for 20 seconds, covering mouth and nose with a tissue when coughing or sneezing, cleaning, disinfecting areas frequently, avoiding touching your face, avoiding close contact with people who are sick. Lastly, the Calexico Fire Department's Facebook page will be the official site to disseminate current and ongoing updates on the behalf of the city. For the latest information on behalf of the City of Calexico, visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/CalexicoFire. Thank you. And I inquired, and just for our citizens, I would like to say a few words about our school district. They also have done an excellent job in action planning and disseminating information. Just to let you know, there will be online schooling at home. Also, there will be a program called Meals to Go. It will be offered at the, you know what, I don't know where it's going to be offered. Do you know?
All the school sites except
That's
Aurora.
right, all the school sites.
Except Aurora.
Aurora, yes. And breakfast is from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., and for lunch, 11 a.m. to 12:30. So, once again, be clear, you're going in, you're getting your meal, and you're leaving immediately and going home to eat that meal. Okay? All right, thank you very much. Moving on, City Manager's Report. Mr. Dale?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. And thank you for reading the letter that we sent out to the public. We continue to assess and monitor the situation that's unfolding. It's a fluid situation, and additional measures may be implemented, and that will be disseminated to the public as those are decided upon. So we are still looking at all items on the table. We will follow the county's advice and guidance that was issued as of yesterday, 3 p.m. And if there's any concerns or questions from the public, we encourage them to send that to us by email or calls, and we will try to respond to them in that regard.
Thank you. Mr. Figueroa?
Yes, a couple of things. You may have read on the paper, March 4th and 5th, given your direction, I was able to attend 2 Senate and Assembly Budget Subcommittee hearings in Sacramento. Both items related to the appropriation for the New River monies for the infrastructure improvements south of 2nd Street Bridge in the amount of $28 million. Both were voted and approved by both Senate and Assembly subcommittees. So in a nutshell, all the boxes have been crossed in terms of getting the support and the approval
to make sure that those monies come around when the 2020-2021 state budget is approved. Credit to the local support here, our city manager, department heads, Ms. Falomir, who has also been part of this project for a while, but most importantly for you, for supporting the cause and allowing me to be there in person. It does make a difference when local jurisdictions send staff members rather than just lobbyists. They hear the story firsthand and they appreciate that. So on that end, that's good. On the other end, several months back, we talked about, these are over-the-counter grants. When it comes to Senate Bill 2 monies, these are planning grants specifically devoted for development services departments, specifically the planning units in cities, so they can improve and have more effective planning procedures and processes in place to benefit either developers or just regular clients. Even though, like I said, it's a non-competitive grant, that it's an over-the-counter grant, the proposal that the city submitted was approved by the Housing and Community Development Department in Sacramento. So now we're going to be having $160,000 that we're going to invest to make sure that we upgrade and improve our processes in the planning department. So those are my 2 items, City Manager.
That's good news. Thank you very much, Mr. Figueroa.
He's a little humble, but he was instrumental in getting that money approved. And that's, I think, Mr. Figueroa has been working on this project since 2007, so it's a huge, I can't underestimate this, I can't understate this, a huge, huge accomplishment.
We understand that. We commend you very highly, Mr. Figueroa, for your hard work and drive to get these things accomplished. Very good. Now it's, before we go to the consent agenda item, I forgot one. It's good news. Don't know if you read in the paper or on your email, but the #1 Walmart of the whole nation is here in Calexico. We are #1 throughout the United States, so keep it up. That's great news. Consent agenda item. Is there a motion to approve the items 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7?
So moved.
Is there? All right. Second by Councilwoman Fernandez. All those in favor, please vote. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposition. The motion carries. Now we move on to discussion and potential action items. Item number 8. Let me go to that. The subject is Allied Waste Services / Republic Services 2020 waiver of CPI increase for residential customers and request to pass through costs associating with implementing the 2020 Organics Waste Recycling Program. Background on that, Mr. Dale?
Mr. Mayor, yes, thank you. Assembly Bill 1826 was approved by the State Assembly September 28, 2014. It mandates that the city establish an organics waste recycling program. And as a result, Allied Waste Services has already started an organics commercial system, recycling system in the city of Calexico because we are mandated by state law to do so. The cities of Imperial, Brawley, and Calexico are all served by Allied, and so all 3 cities together sat at the table with Allied to determine what the cost would be to implement this new service that has been mandated upon us. And we looked at their cost. They brought their cost to us. They justified their cost. And their costs, I think we show them to be in the $475,000 between all 3 cities per year. That's their additional cost to implement this program. So with working with Allied / Republic Services, doing business as Republic Services, they came up with several alternatives that they could implement this through the different cities. And you'll see that in your packet, and they are listed as items C, D, E, F, and G. They have different alternatives, and the one that the city of Brawley has already approved is item number E, item E. That would be, so what we're trying to do is fairly distribute the cost between commercial and through residential. And so what we all determined was that it's right in the middle where the residential has, and what they're trying to do is say, okay, that if the residential has more cost to involve, then you charge the residential more, for example. So that was come up with item E, which would be an additional $1.88 per account for residential, and an additional 2.5% for commercial, plus a 2.5% CIP, or which is inflation, the inflationary rate. And so the total for commercial proposed would be an increase of 5% and $1.88 for residential.
Okay.
And that is basically just a pass-through cost. The city is not making not 1 cent on this. It's whatever the cost for and they're not adding any profit on this. This is what their proposed costs are. So we have to implement it per state mandates.
Right.
And if we don't, then we could face fines from the state.
We could face fines from the state. I want the citizens to know that the organic waste recycling program is it's state mandated through Assembly Bill 1826. Hence, like City Manager indicated, our hands are tied in having to support this rate adjustment for residents. Any adjustment is bad, but it's only $1.88, and believe me, I don't like having residents to pay more, but in order to maintain efficient services and escape some kind of fining, the increase is necessary. That's my opinion on this item. City Council members, anyone else wants to make a statement, or you have a question on this item before we vote?
I might like to add that all cities are going to have the same.
Yes. Very good.
Mr. Dale, my question is, why wasn't it brought to us before if they knew in 2014 that they had to address this issue with?
So the state gave a grace period to implement this program, and that was January 1st, 2020. Now, we were under contract, and that contract had ended in December, which we obviously renewed a new contract. At that time, we didn't have these costs to implement into that contract, and that was a concern of mine. But because we have two other cities together, I felt fairly comfortable that we're not getting gouged, and I don't think we're getting gouged on this situation.
Any other concerns? Do we have any public comments on this item, City Clerk? Thank you. All right, is there a motion for this particular item pertaining to Allied Waste Services and the waiver of CPI increase for residential customers and request to pass through costs associated with implementing 2020 Organics Waste Recycling Program? Is there a motion? All right,
So moved.
and second by Mayor Pro Tem Romero. All those in favor say aye.
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 I
Opposed? No opposition. The motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item number 9. And here is the subject. Award the bid proposal from Crafters Fence Incorporated in the amount of $167,750 and authorize city manager to sign construction agreement for Adrian C. Cordova Baseball Fields Fencing Project, number 2020-200. And we have our Public Works Manager, Mrs. Falomir. Hi.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. On February 11th, 2020, the Public Works Department began requesting bids for Adrian Cordova's baseball field fencing project, which will be located in the 10 acres that are vacant currently at the project on Clinton and Zapata. So we requested bids on March 5th. We received 3 bids. One was from Crafters Fence. The second one was from Red Hawk Services, and the third one was from George Mitchell Builders. The lowest bidder of those 3 was Crafter Fence, Inc., in the amount of $167,750. So we are asking City Council authorization to award the proposal to Crafters, Inc., so we can begin installing the 3 baseball field fences at Adrian Cordova Park.
Very good.
Nobody local, they're from Santee, are they the closest one?
Well, the closest local was number 3, which is for $253,000.
Understanding that there's a personnel center here in fencing, and he wasn't aware of this. We spoke to him about a year ago, and he wasn't aware of this, this timeline. I'd like to table this or bring it out and bid again. You should have a shot at this.
This project was advertised in the Imperial Valley Press, as well as it was advertised in our city website.
There's another thing to consider here.
Right now with this virus, coronavirus, and I think
All right. Thank you, City Councilman Risen. Mr. City Manager?
The consideration here is just time, because our goal is to get grass started, and when we want to plant grass when the season starts in April, May, and to do that we got to have the fencing in so we can put the irrigation in. So that is the timeline that we're trying to work with. We can throw out the bids. I think you have that right. Then that would will put us about 3 months down the road for opening another bid again, probably two to 3 months.
Right, the procurement process or advertising bidding process would be 30 days plus bringing it back to City Council, so it would be about 60 days.
So that might kill our chances of planting grass this season. That's the only drawback.
If we approve right now, City Manager, would there be any backtracks in regards to the current situation that we're facing on a national level?
I don't know about if they ever have a hard time receiving materials, but in terms of labor, it's not confined to any space. They can probably keep their distance. I don't know that there's an issue, but I don't know. Have you talked to the contractor at all?
No,
Okay.
typically once the item is awarded, then we contact and do a pre-construction meeting, and that's where we find out the schedule and what items will be required for inspection.
Okay.
Is the leveling of the entire park, that area, is that finished, or are there still have to go in there and touch it up before the fencing gets done?
The leveling is precise. It's precisely done. The leveling is done. There's still some dirt that may need to be removed. The idea is continually removing the extra dirt, but the fine grading, as my understanding, is done.
It's done.
Yes.
Yes, and we'd like to thank the Imperial Irrigation District for helping us out with the grading as well as the dirt hauling.
It's good that we're moving forward.
We're phasing this project because we don't have the funds to just bid it out.
Right, but we're still moving forward.
Yes.
Which is good.
Well, no, I'm glad we had at least 3 participate in the bid process. That was good. I'm sorry to say that he didn't apply, but
Okay, so do we take first City Attorney Councilman Risen's suggestion to table it? Do we vote on that? Is that correct? Or?
You consider it. If somebody wants to make a motion, then you need a second for discussion purposes. But if there's no second, if there's a motion, it would
dies.
die.
Okay. You want to state your motion again, Mr.
make a motion that we bring out the bid again, give more people an opportunity to bid, as we have right now low in our
So the motion would be to reject the bids, right?
And if we go out again for bid, right?
And go out and bid. Okay. With all due respect, Mr. Risen, Councilman Risen, I've come to the conclusion that, like City Councilman Pacheco, I think we should move forward. We have a sensitive timeline here. It's unfortunate that that gentleman wasn't able to be a part of it. That's my opinion. That was a motion. Is there a second? All right, the motion dies. Moving, now we have to approve this particular motion. Once again, it is to award the bid proposal from Crafters Fence Incorporated in the amount of $167,750 and authorize city manager to sign construction agreement for Adrian C. Cordova Baseball Fields Fencing Project number 2020-200. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second?
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, it carries 4-1 with City Councilman Risen being in the opposition. All right, very good. Moving on to item number 10. Adopt resolution number 2020- approving the annual report of the Calexico Business Improvement District Advisory Board and declaring the City Council's intention to levy an annual assessment for the Calexico Business Improvement District for the calendar year 2020 and directing the city manager to schedule a public hearing for today, correct? To consider levying the assessment. City Attorney?
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. What we're doing at today's would be to schedule the public hearing for the following City Council meeting. It's a procedural, just two-step process. Today, we would schedule the public hearing for the next City Council meeting, upon which we would look to.
So let me understand, there is one or two more pertaining to bid?
Correct.
Public hearing.
Correct. So this one, we'll schedule the public hearing for the following meeting.
This one that I just read?
Yes.
Correct. The next item that's agendized under public hearing, that item we're going to continue to the public hearing, the next item.
That item, we're going to do the public hearing today.
We're going to continue that item. The following item will continue to the next City Council.
To the next. Okay, I
Yeah, what
understand.
happened here was that the notice of the public hearing was published for today's meeting. And so we don't lose the publishing notice and have to pay the funds to publish again. We put it on the agenda with the
Okay.
idea that we're going to continue it over
All
to the
right.
following meeting. It was a way to save money and save
All right,
staff
so we
costs.
will be continuing,
The following item. This item will be adopting, it's setting the public hearing for the following meeting.
right,
And the second item following this, the
we
public
will
hearing.
continue.
Correct.
Thank you for a clarification. All right then, for this item, especially City Council's intention to levy an annual assessment for bid, first of all, is there any background information, city manager or? Mr. Figueroa?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. As we know, the bid picked up activities in 2019. It had been stagnant for 3 years. For that amount of time, the levy had not been assessed. One, because it was not appropriate to levy a fee on a business that was not receiving a particular service. However, that changed. Through the direction of this council, the bid began to convene once again in 2019. As a result of that, not only did events begin to happen again, and activities that would enhance and serve the purpose as to why the Business Improvement District exists here in Calexico. So with that said, we were able to compile and present an activity report for the 2019 activities to the Business Improvement District, for which they approved. Normal process is for them to approve, then bring the item for your consideration through a public hearing and levy the assessment. So what we're looking at right now, even though we're finishing the third quarter of calendar year 2020, we've been working on something that had not been done for 3 years. So we expect, as we've done with other things in the city, for next year to do it at the right time. However, we still see that it's imperative that we levy the assessment, obviously, with your consideration and approval. Like our city attorney mentioned, there's a process for that, and that will be coming at the next meeting. But it's important for us to tell you why we're doing it in March. And we will be working closely with our finance director and her staff to make sure that we do this in a way that it's amenable to all the businesses in the business improvement district. Why? Because we normally do it when they renew the business license.
Correct, which is in January.
Exactly, but given the circumstances, we're going to do it in a different way. I also want to be clear that the bid has expressed support for this, and even businesses that have attended the bid meeting said they would be willing to assist the city to make sure that businesses are properly informed as to why this is being done this way.
And do they accept the $100 assessment for each business?
We feel that was staff's recommendation to the bid. The bid members acknowledged it and approved it. One, it's consistent with what had been done in previous years, and two, we first want to showcase that things are getting done before the fee, or in this case, the levy that we're going to issue gets revisited. We feel that's the right thing to do for businesses right now.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or concerns about this item? Okay, no? All right. Any public comments on this item, City Clerk? No. Okay, very good. I'm not going to read this one again. It's really long. So is there a motion regarding the levy and assessment on bid for item number 10? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Motioned by Councilman Risen, second by Councilman Pacheco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposition. The motion passes unanimously. Now we go in consecutive order as planned to the additional agenda items. Number 11 is adopt resolution of the City Council of the City of Calexico declaring a local emergency regarding novel coronavirus, COVID-19. Any background on this, Mr. Dale?
Chief Favila.
Oh, the chief. Thank you. Welcome, Chief.
All right, good evening, City Council, Manager, and staff, and to our customers and community members from the city that are watching online. I am presenting tonight to the board something that doesn't happen very often, and that's a good thing. Unfortunately, we are at a time in our lives where we're faced with some serious issues, as we're all aware, all know, and we are aware of COVID-19 and its destruction that it has done. It would behoove us to go ahead and adopt this resolution to declare a state of emergency, or correction, a local emergency, because this puts us in line with the federal funding, state funding, and we're falling in their lead on potential reimbursements that could be coming our way for this, on the stuff that we would need to do. Along with this staff report you have in front of you, there's one part that I do want to mention. I think it's important that I reiterate on it, is that this declaration of emergency is a proactive in nature. It's basically getting us in line to, in the event that we need to ask, or we become so overwhelmed that we need to have assistance from outside of our city, that were in line already and that were part of the team, basically. But the part that I'm saying that's important is that our city of Calexico residents, please don't take this as an emergency, in the sense that I don't want them to panic. Know that we're under control of the thing. We're working hard with our counterparts at the county, at the state levels. We're following all the precautions, all the recommendations that is provided to the city of Calexico via the fire department, public, everything. So we're up to date. And that's what I have in front of you.
Okay. Any concerns or questions among the city council members? No, I think this is absolutely the right thing to do. Do we have public comments?
Yes.
Okay. Any further information, Chief? No?
No, sir. If you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, I don't think there are. We totally agree.
Thank you.
Okay, so very good. So we vote on this. Make a motion by Councilman Risen. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Fernandez. Please vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Moving on to agenda item number 12. Approve an emergency telecommuting agreement between the city and the exempt employees and authorize the city manager to sign the agreement, prepared by Denise Garcia, our HRM manager. And for some further background, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Administration is requesting your approval tonight for an emergency telecommuting agreement that would allow exempt employees to work from home and authorize the city manager to sign that agreement.
Okay.
And again, just to reiterate, this is for exempt employees only, so it would be salaried employees, which would mean management level or above.
Okay. All right, very good. City council members, any questions for Mrs. Garcia? Or concerns?
Mr. Dale, case by case, you'll look at the issue and then decide? Is that?
Correct, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Upon recommendation of our HR director, right?
Yes,
Wanted
of
to put
course.
it out there.
Okay. All right, very good. Any public comments, city clerk? No. All right then. Thank you, Mrs. Garcia. We will vote on this. Is there a motion to approve this agenda item?
Motion to approve agenda item 12.
Is there a second?
So move.
So moved. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No opposition. The motion carries unanimously. Moving on to agenda item number 13, subject, approval of letter to be sent to water customers with regards to assistance during the local emergency regarding novel coronavirus COVID-19. Welcome, Mrs. Lovatos. Thank
Good
you, our
evening,
finance director.
Mayor, council members. The item presented in front of you is a letter that I'm suggesting we send to our community, to our customers, and this is in regards to, due to the coronavirus, this emergency that we currently have, so that we offer the option of paying, having other options of paying, and also waiving fees starting today, nothing past, going forward, and also not disconnecting the water. Now, I will recommend that we can do this, but then on the con side, since we've been disconnecting, we've been working with our community, our disconnection list has been reduced from having maybe 1,500 customers on disconnection list to 60 the last month. So there's a problem that we are supporting our community and our residents in need. Then on the other side, we might go back to having a long list of disconnections. So it is
to clarify, if I could, we're not waiving the water bill. If there's a late fee, we would waive the fee, is what we're talking about. They would still be responsible to pay the water bill, but we would
On
not
time?
disconnect.
Upon payment arrangement too,
Cor-
right?
Yes, correct. So what we're suggesting is that we do not disconnect based on non-payment.
Right.
But in 3 months or a month, whenever this ends,
Passes.
they will still,
Oh, that balance.
yes,
Yes.
but without the late fees, if that's
Right.
correct.
Right, we will.
Okay.
Installment plans can be arranged
Correct.
with.
That's
with-
good.
And that would be on a case-by-case basis, and it would be up to the residents to come in and set up a payment plan. And the only thing that we are saying, we will not assess late fees during this period due to some of our residents not being calling to work or not having work.
Mhm.
So they will still be responsible to pay for the water bill, but we will not be assessing late fees during this period.
Or shut
All right.
We will not disconnect our water.
Yes, that's important. Now,
It's
Reese.
the right thing to do.
Yes, it is, to restate that for the people that are watching, that the water, will not be disconnected. You still are responsible to pay your water bill. If you cannot, on a case-by-case basis, arrangements will be made for some type of installment plan. We understand and we support the public. We know that there are going to be people that are going to face some hardships because of this virus crisis. All right, any other concerns or questions? Excuse me? Timeline.
We don't know how long this thing is going to last at this point, so we're just monitoring, is that correct?
When is this initiated?
This is just to initiate or in that our customers know that we will not be disconnecting, we will not
Okay,
assessing late fees. And once this,
starting tomorrow.
stabilizes, then we'll go back to.
Okay,
We'll also make an announcement that this is now in full effect and now we'll go back to what we were doing before. And again, if they want to set up a payment plan, they need to come in, once we're open for business, they need to come in or contact us by the phone and we'll be happy to help them set up a payment plan.
all right, they have the option to contact by phone because that
is correct.
might be the only
Be answered.
recourse. Right. Okay, is there a public comment or public comments on this? All right, very good. Then, is there a motion for the approval of the letter to be sent to water customers with regards to assistance during the local emergency regarding novel coronavirus known as COVID-19? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve, agenda item 13.
Very good. Is there a second? I will second that.
Oh.
All right. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There is no opposition. It passes unanimously. Last added agenda item, number 14, states, the subject matter is adopt resolution 20- approving an emergency administrative leave known as EAL policy, authorizing the city manager to provide EAL to affected employees. Here we are. We have Mrs. Garcia again. Thank you. Some explanation on this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, I have another emergency item. Administration is requesting your approval tonight for an emergency administrative leave policy, which would provide up to 10 days, 10 working days, or 80 hours of emergency administrative leave to cover an employee due to work unavailability caused by a major public disaster. This current pandemic that we're in right now would qualify this as a disaster, and the employees would be eligible for that.
Very good. That's a good thing to do.
And just to note, maybe not for the record, but since we're on record, I just received notice that it was approved by the Senate, and so the FMLA policy we discussed earlier will, or the FMLA leave has been approved, and so it'll become effective 15 days after President Trump signs it, so.
All right, very good.
That's another plus for
Okay.
a lot of employees, not just for our
Yes.
staff.
That's good news. Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, Director Garcia, I don't want to throw this, God forbid, one of the employees does contract the virus. Is it going to be on a case-by-case basis, the 10 days? I mean, sometimes
We would treat this like we would any other illness or injury that they would encounter. It would, hopefully they would notify us from home.
Okay.
Not come in to tell us.
Right.
And we would start the process just like we would on any other leave. And so they would use their accruals like they would for anything else. And if they ran out of their accruals, this 10 days would be allotted to them, and we have as well at the FMLA. And I have to look at what it has been expanded to. I haven't reviewed everything. I haven't seen everything yet. So they would be entitled to that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any more concerns or questions? No? All right, thank you, Mrs. Garcia. Public comments? Okay, very good. Let's please have a motion on this particular item, number 14.
Make a motion to approve.
Go ahead. All right, a second.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Fernandez. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There is no opposition, so it passes unanimously. Okay, now we move on to item number 15. Or 15 is, correct me if, which one?
It's a public hearing for the bid levy. Previously, in this council meeting, we set the public hearing for the first meeting next month, which is April 1st. As such, I'd recommend we open this public hearing and continue the public hearing to the next meeting, the first meeting next month, which is April 1st.
All right, so we're going to open up the public hearing.
Correct, and then we'll take a motion to continue to April 1st.
Okay. All right, in order to do that motion, we open up the public hearing at approximately 7:42. And you want us to vote on.
We would need a motion and a second to continue the public hearing till April 1st.
All right, is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Okay, second.
Second.
All right, very good. All those in favor to do that, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposition? Then it carries unanimously. The next item, that's 16, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Open up a public hearing to adopt a resolution number 2020, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Calexico, California, increasing the maximum rate buses and taxi cabs are permitted to charge passengers and taking other action related thereto. Okay. We will open this up for discussion first, and then for any people that want to come forward for the public hearing. Mr. Figueroa?
Yes, per your staff report, you can see that it's been a substantial amount of time since both the rates for taxis and bus services were looked at. The consideration being brought to you is because obviously, like with everything, costs go up, and in order to provide the quality of service that our residents expect, well, the companies need to be bringing in the profit so they can provide the service that's expected. That is why this item is being brought for you today. The consideration of increase of the fees is in line with what should have been done in previous years. So pretty much we're just bringing them up to 2020 numbers. That's what's being looked at right now. And again, both our companies in Calexico for both taxi and bus services have worked diligently with the city to make sure that this is brought forth for your consideration.
Very good. Okay, is there any comments or questions? I do have a comment. I strongly believe that this is not the time to increase taxi and bus fares because of our coronavirus crisis. As a nation, we are headed for a recession, most likely. As a community, many people will be losing their jobs. This will be a hard economic time for many of our citizens. If we raise the taxi and bus fares, it will have a disproportionate negative impact on our low-income citizens, especially our seniors. With all due respect to the taxi and bus owners who have their own financial struggles, I understand, I say no on this particular item. That's me, Mayor Hodge. Anybody else wants to make a statement or have any questions about this item?
50 cents for the cabs.
How much?
50 cents
For the bus.
For the bus.
for the bus.
50 cents.
$1.50 for the
And
tax.
$1.50 additional for the cab.
For bus services, there is a reduced fee for students and for seniors.
I think for
But not for taxis.
for seniors as well, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. For
What
seniors
about
as well.
taxis?
Yeah, for seniors as well and taxis. That's what
Wait a
I'm
minute,
saying.
I want to make sure that,
Right now, they're $5 and it's $4 for seniors. Is that still far?
For tax, I think we need to look into that, 'cause I don't think so.
No, at this point right now, what's being reflected would be only for the bus services. The communication and the correspondence that we received from the taxi company provided that flat rate across the line.
I remember back in 2003 or 4, whenever it started, that they were going to give $4 for the seniors and $5 for the regular. I believe that they might keep it
It's
at
$5 right now, isn't it?
Yes.
$5 right now.
yes.
$5, but the seniors are 4. Yeah, because I get on this one back.
I didn't know.
And I asked them, they said
I don't know
yes.
anything about the tax people.
So my question is, if it goes up to 650, are the seniors going to be 550?
But my understanding, Councilman Risen, as Councilwoman Fernandez states, that it's a flat fee across the board.
So it would be $6.50
When it comes to the bus services, there is
is,
a reduced fee for both seniors and students.
There is a reduced fee right now for taxis. It's $4 for seniors. Because I myself get on there and I ask and they tell me
Okay.
$4, so I know for a fact.
That's something that I'm not good.
And I spoke to Mr. Ortega about that, and he said there is. So I
Oh, that's
will
different.
give that a down to 550 for the seniors. Can we stipulate that? On this
Could we, City
Senior
Attorney?
rates will continue.
That is a stipulation that you folks have the liberty today to tell us if that's what you so wish.
okay.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I think Mr. Risen brings a good point. Seniors should get a discounted rate, and if it's,
Yeah, they should.
They do.
and we should continue with that.
I know, right?
Yeah. We'll just add it to the motion that senior rate should be included and kept in.
I think with that, your concern is covered, Councilman Risen, and
Yes. I mean, I know they haven't raised their, it's been over 12 years. since I
exactly,
understand.
yeah.
That's kind of.
So
that's
that
a lot of years.
specification can be included.
Okay, so can we make a motion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we make a motion that we approve the,
Councilman Risen, with all due respect, can we please just close the public hearing first?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Excuse me, we're public hearing. All right, do we have any online comments for the public, from the public? Okay, nothing for or against on this issue. All right, then, let's close the public hearing at 7:48. Very good. Now we can vote on this
Continue
item.
the discussion.
I believe Mr. Rison was about to.
Motion that we approve the 650 or 550 or 650 for the taxis and $1.50 for the buses with the.
No, 50 cents for the buses. It was 50 cents for the buses. That's why the increase, because he said $1.50.
No.
Oh,
Could I mean, approve what's on paper with
Okay.
the consideration that you're making
Okay.
with the amendment, yeah.
on the taxis. That would be the
All
add-on.
right, very good. That's understood among everybody? Okay, very good. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? No, by Mayor Hodge. Okay, but the item passes. Moving on
That's it.
to, that's it. Okay. Okay, future agenda items. Councilwoman Fernandez.
I guess we just need updates on what's the situation.
Yes.
And if we have any.
Right. Mayor Pro Tem?
Same as Councilwoman Aurora Fernandez, just stay vigilant and stay ready on the phone if there is any meetings that have to come up in emergency, but no future agenda items at this moment, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilman Risen?
I just want to know when are you going to knock down the L slide?
The owner,
Who has that answer?
Sledgehammer.
And then there's a new one that came out.
Just to answer your question in regards to the building at 310 Lockwood and the demolition of that, I know the property owners have come to City Hall. They have pulled with their demolition permits, so it's just a matter of time. I would expect a hiccup just in regards to this COVID-19 issue. They may not be on track with that, so that's the only thing I need to, they did pull the permit. It's a matter of time now. As far as the one downtown, just happened today, and we'll make sure all that comes up.
Perfect.
Greyhound, I'll tell you right now.
Councilman Risen, what about your concern, our concern about that monument, that stone, that,
Your bus stop is open. The Greyhound is open. And I guess I can speak to that on the monument. So the monument in the front, what they're looking for is not so much a piece of concrete, it's damaged already. Put a plaque on it. We can work on removing that. It's just at the moment, it was still unstable. The fence came up. We should be able to do that. And the flagpole, we will also work with them on that. And we will also need to be clear of who's actually receiving it. Is it somebody from them, right?
okay.
Yeah, we'll bring it to Public Works first.
Sounds good.
Okay, very good. Considerations, okay. Councilman Pacheco?
No, a grand opening, Mr. Figueroa, Saturday, you were stating that the general,
So, again, unfortunately, given all the conditions that we know about, speaking with the folks of Dollar General, the plan is to open shop on Saturday. We're gonna let all this commotion settle, and it won't go unnoticed. We will have a little ceremony when more than 10 people can conglomerate.
Right.
And have something worthwhile for our community, because it's a new business that we've been working on for a while to bring to town. So we will get to that day.
Okay,
The good thing is that Ms. Lovatos is smiling right now because we're going to be generating some tax dollars for our city beginning Saturday with that store.
okay, very good. Any other?
no, that was it.
All right, I do have two. I am very worried about our most vulnerable citizens, the senior citizens. We need to take care of them as much as possible. So therefore, as mayor, I strongly urge that we set up some type of hotline for the seniors. Its purpose will be to open the flow of communication on questions and concerns they may have about the city's efforts to combat the coronavirus. Also, let the hotline serve as a place where seniors can ask for help or reports any circumstances that are threatening or worrisome to them. They will be the most susceptible to feeling high levels of stress, anxiety, and loneliness. They just need to have the opportunity to reach out and talk to another human being. Maybe we can construct a pamphlet that has all the information about the hotline and its service, and move on with that. Some type of more communication, maybe at the library where they can call in and have their concerns met. They are a special population. The second area regarding the senior citizens is to have some type of meeting with all our local market managers and urge them to implement specific exclusive hours for senior citizens to go shopping for food. This exclusive isolated activity should minimize the transfer of virus to senior citizens and others. With this request, we are not inventing the wheel. This is already being done with our sister city, San Diego, and other cities. So I would like to set up a meeting via telephone or any other manner where we can recommend, strongly suggest to those market managers that they set up a specific hour for senior citizens to go in there and shop. Those are my two concerns for future agenda items. Thank you. All right, and to the public, we are going through some very hard times. Please practice social distancing, smart hygiene, stay at home as much as possible, and we will get through this. We really will. And we'll be giving you updates as to what is going on from hour to hour, day to day. Thank you very much. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Make a motion.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.